Hey everyone, welcome in. I'm Captivate, and I apologize for the delay in posting. I was at Bandai Card Fest last week. This was the list I ended up taking. I did decide to play Black Yellow Luffy. I was testing Doflamingo a lot and felt a little bit more comfortable on Black Yellow Luffy because that was what I played all last set. So this was the list I played. I ended up placing 248th, which obviously was a little disappointing. I would have liked to have placed higher, but I am planning on going to One Piece Day in Dallas, so definitely looking forward to that. During my Nats run, I ended up hitting too many Purple Luffy a little bit too early, which was a matchup I was a little bit unfamiliar with and really didn't test into as much as I definitely should have. I wasn't expecting it to have too much of a showing, but there was a lot in the room for sure. If I was like looking to my left or my right, I noticed there was a lot of Purple Luffy, and it's definitely a weaker matchup for Black Yellow Luffy in general, and personally I didn't play into it a lot, so that was definitely a weak spot in my own game. So we're going to continue playing, testing, and figuring out what I want to play for OP09. I think Black Yellow Luffy is obviously quite strong right now, and congrats to Cross for winning the whole thing. His deck list is online. I think you can find it on Eggman events. It's not too different from the list that I'm running. I'm not exactly sure like some of the ratios he's running in comparison to mine, but I do know that his was very similar, maybe like a couple cards different. I know he was running the Ivankov blocker, which I'm definitely become a pretty big fan of, testing into Purple Luffy more now that I've gotten back. So yeah, today I'm going to be playing a couple games on Lucci. I'm experimenting with some of the different decks, and Lucci had a pretty good performance at Nationals, and I think he has a pretty solid deck right now. I think really his only bad matchup is going to be Black Yellow, as well as obviously Teach. Once you learn how to play against Teach, I think it becomes a lot easier knowing, oh, I'm just going to spam a bunch of bodies, and that makes that matchup a little bit easier to play. I think because of the Kaidos, or if you end up teching in like Zombie Luffy or something similar, then it makes Teach a little bit easier to play into as Lucci as compared to BY, because I do know that BY is really hard to play into Teach, especially if they know what they're doing. So this is the generally going to be the list that I'm playing in the games today. I'm playing around with the ratios of like the Kakus and the Kaidos, Jacks, how many Helmeppos I'm running. Very small changes to the deck list. But yeah, this is the list I'm going to be playing with right now. I would love it if you all could leave a comment letting me know what leaders you want to see. I know I started playing Doflamingo earlier in the set, and I think there's definitely a lot of merit to playing Doflamingo right now. I don't think anyone can deny that he's definitely the best deck right now, at least in terms of results, seeing that I think there was like 11 or 12 that got top 32 in Orlando. So I definitely think that if you put a lot of time into that deck, you will be rewarded. And just what you all want to see, just let me know in the comments, and that'll help me know what to give you guys. As always, a like and subscribe is always super appreciated, and I want to thank you all so much for watching the videos. I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks again. All right, against Shanks, I do know that going first is the more favored curve. I'm going to mulligan this hand. I don't really have much I can do in the early game. I do have events, which is good for us. I don't have anything I can do on this turn. Probably just going to swing 9 next turn as well. We'll take that 8. I can establish a Brook and then swing 6. So I like the idea of doing that. Anytime we can just get these 6k swings in while also doing something works well. Like similar to if you're playing against like an RP Luffy, anytime you can just poke them for 6 and then either make them give you a card or take a life, that is obviously good, rather than just swinging 5 and letting him leader effect out of it. Like that reason kind of makes me feel like you want to go second in this matchup, but I do know statistically first is better. I'll give a 2k there. Probably going to play the Lucky Roo. Oh, Zoro. I'll take that. We do have a Brook, so I could swing 5, 6. I mean, he's going to leader effect either way. And then I'll KO it with, yeah, so obviously we'll go Rebecca into Brook and then KO it with one of the Brooks. I'll just go 5 here. Probably leader effects. And then we'll go 6. I don't think there's any better way we could swing. And then we'll KO it with the other Brook. Yep. All right, now we have 2 Brooks on board, so that's pretty good for us. And then we are going into our Jack turn next turn. So he could, like, Beckman one of the Brooks, I would assume. Here, I think... I'm going to block. Just get the Rebecca back in trash. Save us a card. Oh, Marco. Okay. So we actually the annoying thing with Marco is when you KO him, he goes in trash, so you lose the reduction on him. So if I reduce him and then KO him and then he comes back, he's going to be 5 again. So you can't do like what you can with the ace, where with the ace you can KO it and then he goes -2 cost, and then you can KO him again. So the Marco's just a little bit stickier. I can just do like a value Moria and go Rebecca Spandam, get a Khalifa back. That'll give me 2 cards. I think I could either do that or go 7 and then play a Jack. I like the idea of that as well. I think I'm going to do the... Yeah, I think so. I'm going to go 6. That's -1. And then I can reduce it with one of the Brooks and then KO it with Jack. And that'll let me cycle. And then if he wants to deal with the Brook, he can. Because I do have these events that I can combo with Moria later. Okay, so he gets rid of one of the Brooks. I really couldn't have played around that in any way. Because the Jack's going to be on my Dawn. Otherwise, you can just put Dawn on it before you swing anytime they leave 2 open. I want to keep all of these events because his characters are going to be so big. And I can put the... I think I'll put the Lucci in trash because I'm going to want to play Moria next turn. Yeah, so we'll just get one of the events out of his hand. And then next turn, we do want to go into, like, Moria, Rebecca, Suru. I don't have a Helmeppo in there. So he has 9. Could very likely go probably like a Rayleigh or something. Rayleigh, Dragon, usually what they're going to want to play. And then maybe swing 7 at something. I'm going to give the 2k just to keep the Brook alive. Because I'm probably going to have to give that 2k for life if he swings at life, so... It'll probably redirect it into the Brook. I would like to keep this Jack alive, but he usually isn't the stickiest thing in the world against this, this deck. 8, so 9, 10, and then 11. So there's no way I can counter out of that. And then he'll probably go 6 into the Brook here. Yeah, and then I'll also let that die. So I have 12 in trash, so Tempest is online, so that's 3, Leader's 4, Suru is 5, 6, so we can do Lucci. I think I'll swing 6 and then Moria into Lucci. I think that's the best play I have. Yeah, and I'll just have to live with the Marco for now. And we do have enough reduction to deal with a Shanks next turn. So that's good for us. I'll just make sure I have enough CP cards. I have 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I have plenty for Spandine. 4, 5, 6 with Suru. Yep, so Rebecca, Suru. And then now I don't have to grab the Spandine because I already have it in my hand. So a Jack would be nice to play next turn. I already have a Lucci. I could grab a Sabo to cycle. I think I'm going to get a Jack. And then we can play off the Jack next turn. We'll go Tempest, Khalifa, and then Khalifa. And then play the Lucci and KO the Dragon. We'll go Moria, Ice Age, Ice Age. Obviously can't get rid of the Marco there. And we get our nice big Moria play. And then now we have like reduction and Jack or Lucci set up to KO the Shanks, assuming he plays that this turn. So he's going to play a Rayleigh, KO the Lucci. One of these 6k swings I think I'll give a 2k for, just so I can stay a little healthier. Yeah, so he'll go 6 and then 7. So I think I'll 2k with the Who's Who because I already have so much KO power. And I'll keep the Khalifa just in case I need to play her for reduction. And then I'll block the Marco. Yep. Alright, so let's see. The Moria is a 7 right now. We can definitely get rid of this Rayleigh. I'm just thinking about the best way to do it. So Tempest is going to be 3. Leader is 4. Jack KO's a 3. So we couldn't do it like that. We could Ice Age. Ice Age makes him 3. Yeah, I think we'll just Ice Age and then play the Jack. That'll let us cycle. Get rid of the Lucci. We don't need that. So these both are 7s. So I could go 7, 7 into Marco. I think I'm good with doing that and just check him for some events. See if he wants to 2k or use the events. Yep. Probably going to play a Shanks down here. So if he goes 5, I think... So if he does go 12, it'll be 12 into 7. I assume he's going to want to go into the jack. So that's 5 to get out of that. So there's no way I could get out of that. I think I'll go ahead and take this, and then I'll 2k the Marco. And then I'm assuming the Shanks is going to go in my face as well. Oh, okay, so it's not the Rush Shanks. So we can Kaido, the Tempest Kick Kaido, to get rid of that Shanks. That'll work for us, and then he'll trash a card. And then we could go 9 at Marco. I'm going to go 5 at face first and see if he wants to use leader effect there. So then I could more easily swing at the Marco with the Moria. Because I do want to get him off the board. So if I can get the Marco off the board and then KO the Shanks, which I'm going to be able to do with these 2 cards here, then he'll only have his leader. And then if he plays like a Shanks next turn to swing at me with. Yeah, so then we'll go... See if he wants to give me another event for that one. Does. And then we'll Tempest and Kaido. I will keep the other Kaido, and then I think I'll get rid of the Brook. Make him trash a card. Yep. And I'm guessing the last card in his hand is going to be a Shanks. So 12, we have to take that. All right, so we do have Rebecca Hina, that's 4, Tempest Kick is 7, and then leader is 8, and then we could play Shank or KO the Shanks. Yeah, so I think we can definitely kill the Marco here. So let's do that. There's no way he can keep this alive. He could trash that, yeah. And then we can Tempest Kick, that's -3, leader's 4, Hina makes it 8, so that 2, so 1, so we can swing 6 with leader. Yeah, so we're pretty much going to be dead to, like, Lime Juice. Unfortunate. Yeah, so Rebecca, Hina, and then Lucci. Very well-known combo at this point. And then we'll just have to see if we're able to live, depending on what's in his hand. Because if he has a Lime Juice or a Roger, or a Beckman even, we have a couple things for dead too. But we can see if we're able to make it. Because if we can survive this turn, we'll be fine. It just depends on what's in his hand here. Alright, yeah, so Hongo doesn't do anything for him. We'll block that. Considering he's leaving 2 open, I'm guessing he's just... It's very possible he has a that 2-cost Red Hawk. So we'll just play around that by putting 1 dot on the Hina. And we can go 9, 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, and then 8. So we'll start with an 8. And then we can go 9, 9, 9, 9. 9. Yeah, and then even if he does get a trigger there. All right. So -3. That is a 6, 7, 7, 7, 8, 9, and then 8. Yeah, so we'll go 7. There's no way he can survive this. Yeah, so yeah, a little bit lucky there that we were able to, that he didn't have any way to get past our blocker there. If he did have like the Gold Roger or the Lime Juice, either of those really would have killed us. But sometimes you just have to play to like your best answer for play towards whatever is best for you to win the game next turn. So that is Lucci into Shanks. Yeah, so against Luffy, we definitely want to go second. And what we're really looking for is going to be like Sabo and Kaido. These two are going to be really good. We want to use the Kaido to get rid of the Morias. And you can see. Shout out to Gyro LOL. So thanks for the support there. I'm going to keep this hand because I do have the Kaido and the Sabo. And then we just pass This is a matchup that I think people have been playing for 2 or 3 sets now. I'm going to take the Tempest so that we can draw another card and another card. I'll actually keep that one in my hand for now. And then on our next turn, probably play a... Very likely they play a Kuzan here, which I do want to answer, but I don't think we actually have an answer to because we don't have any of the 3 cost KO. So we can use the Lucci here, so we can go Suru into Lucci. And then, yeah, so we'll Suru into Lucci, and then we don't have to swing at him this way because we had that Spandom, which is good for us. 7, we'll take another Kuzan. That is rough. I think we're going to have to let that one die, or let that one stay alive because we don't have any KO power. Still don't have any KO power. Still don't have any KO power. Yeah, so I think what we can do is just play the Sabo here. We'll keep our board safe. We definitely want to keep the Rebecca. Yeah, all the big characters I want to keep. I don't need the Hina. I don't think I need the Soap Sheep either. We'll keep the 2Ks. And then now going into this turn, I'll take the 9. Probably going to swing 9 with Kuzan. Oh, they play another turn. Another Kuzan. That is not good for us. Yeah, so I'm going to establish a Jack so that it can't be KO'd by the Kuzan. And I'm going to use a... Yeah, we'll use the Ice Age and then we'll Jack. And then we can get rid of the... I actually think I'm going to use the Spandom to get more cards in our trash. Let's get rid of the other Jack. KO that one. Not great that we lose the Moria there, but that's alright. The Kuzan is not good to be on the board, obviously. We do have some 2Ks in our hands, so that's good for us. He has 11 cards. The Kuzans give them so much draw power, it's crazy. I love Kuzan in Black Yellow Luffy. I don't think I've played Black Yellow Luffy without Kuzan, besides like the days when Black Yellow had before like, oh man, when did Kuzan start getting popular? I think it was right after Egghead Luffy came out. But yeah, I've never really been a fan of Ace in Black Yellow Luffy. I've always enjoyed aceless builds. Yeah, Rocket Luffy into Sabo, that's pretty bad. That's not great. 10 and a 5. Yeah, I think we're cooked here. We are absolutely cooked. Man, we don't even have a Rebecca to play off of the Moria. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, so we can... Well, I'll throw the Rebecca down there, so we can bring it back with the Moria. And yeah, Spandom, please hit. All right, we get it 1K, let's go. And then off of the Rebecca, I'll grab the Sabo. Yeah, I think you pretty much always grab Sabo back in this matchup. I could go ahead and Spandine into Lucci just to get more board presence. I think that's a pretty good idea. And then we'll just go 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so now he kind of has to awaken next turn. I don't think he'll have an issue awakening. But if he doesn't awaken, then we can threaten quite a few cards out of hand because we have 4 attackers, or 5 attackers, sorry. And then he only has 2 life, so even if he plays a Sabo, what you do is you just like kind of poke it, and then just try to get as many cards out of hand, and then as soon as he counters, then you stop swinging. I think the worst part right now is we took too much damage in the early game. I took like 1 or 2 hits, and that we probably could have countered out of. But yeah, Kaido's going to be good. You pretty much always, unless you can really threaten getting a lot of cards out of hand by getting rid of a Sabo, you pretty much always get rid of a Moria or a Fist Luffy. The like take your life, punch Luffy. Just because those are going to be like the actually threatening swings. And then Rebecca is always like a huge liability in this matchup because it is 4, which decks like Black Purple Luffy as well as the ST14 Luffy when he was popular had a little bit of a better matchup into Black Yellow because of the fact that they had the +1 cost, and 5 cost blockers are pretty hard for Black Yellow Luffy to deal with. And if you're able to just stall the game out, he eventually will run out of steam. Him playing like a value Moria play wouldn't be the worst thing in the world because he does have like 10 cards in hand. I think he's probably trying to figure out if he wants to go to 0 here or not. Alright, so he does end up going. And then probably heals into like Sabo, I would have to assume. Oh, Rocket Luffy. So then he'll get rid of a Lucci. Oh wait, no, he's not. We can get quite a few cards out of hand on this turn, I think. So he does have 2 life. He only has 1 Luffy in trash. So I could not swing at him. And then he wouldn't be able to play Moria, but I'm sure he has the Luffy's in hand. If I go 7, 8, 9, 9, 8. So he could take 2 of those. So he could take 2 9s. And then that means he has to counter out of an 8 and a 9. So 8 is 2 cards. 9 is 7, 9, 11. And then he has 3 cards. And then he could play Moria. I think I could start with an 8. Yeah, I think I'll start with 8. I could have swung the Jack there. I don't know why I didn't do that. Well, I'm never going to play the Kaido here. Yeah, so he gives me 2 2Ks. So I could go 999. 999. And if I do that, he only has to counter out of 1 9, which leaves him those 3. He doesn't have an ace. He doesn't have an Sabo. So this is like pretty much what you need to happen for Lucci to have a chance against Black Yellow. Oh, and we just get there. Yeah, unfortunate for him. Yeah, unlucky. Yeah, that definitely happens. But yeah, whenever Black Yellow Luffy doesn't see Sabo, I think that's like the main win condition for Lucci. Yeah, so good game to him. Yeah, so he didn't have any Sabo, and you're pretty much going to want to try to look for the moments like I looked for when you can pressure cards out of their hand, and then just do the math of like how many cards they will have after doing that to see what's best. Like we had several different lines we could take there, and obviously like he wasn't able to see Sabo or really the pieces he needed, so it's an unlucky game from Luffy. And these are like the percentage games that you have to be able to convert. If you're in an unfavored matchup, you have to recognize the, like, if we can assume that this matchup is like a 70-30, you have to recognize when you're in those 30% of games that you can win, and then play the most optimal lines to get yourself to win that 30%, and not give him an opportunity to come back in the game or stay in the game, knowing like how Luffy wins games. So just pressuring that turn, knowing that we can rip all those cards out of hand, is something that you have to look for, rather than just playing a big body and passing, and then it gives them a little bit more time to get back into the game. So yeah, just I think this is important with any deck that is unfavored. Know what your 30% games look like, and then how to convert those games. And that's true from the inverse, is knowing if you're like, if I'm playing against a deck that I'm super favored into, or if I'm on black yellow's side and I'm playing into a Lucci, I have to recognize like, oh, I'm in a game that I don't have Sabo, so now I need to do X so that I don't end up losing this game. And just try and do your best as you can. And obviously there are games like this that happens. Like, it's unlucky that you don't see Sabo, and you're gonna lose games. So it's just important to be able to recognize the type of game you're in. So yeah, got a little lucky, obviously, that he didn't see Sabo, but good game to him regardless. Against Smoker, I think this is a somewhat favored matchup for Lucci. I think Lucci really is Smoker's like biggest issue from being like super meta. So I think this is going to be like, it's basically a Lucci mirror, but a little bit easier because their Moria isn't as strong as yours. They do choose to go second. You definitely do want to go second into this matchup. I think anything Navy related wants to go second. So they're going to go, ideally they go brand new on 2, and then on 4, probably something with Rebecca or a Brook. So just looking for ways to answer anything they would play early. Also looking for like a Jack or Moria. Alright, we'll pass. We don't have anything to play here. And then we can take the first life or 2 because it is essentially a black mirror. At any black game, you want to take like a life or 2. I think we can go ahead and use one of these Tempests just because we have so much reduction already. We don't have anything else to play out there, so I'll just swing 7. Spandam in our hand would have been nice to play out, but yeah, so I'm going to take the 5 here. It's possible he puts the 4 there and goes 7, and I would take that as well. So he does play down the Kuzan, which we do need to answer, and we have a pretty easy answer with the Kaku. I know most Lucci lists have been leaning towards playing the Kaku for an answer to Doflamingo's board, and in this case it helps us out a bit. I'll keep the Spandine in trash. I run 1 less copy of Spandine, so just putting him back because I think he's a little bit more important than a Spandam, obviously, for our Moria combo. Possible he plays another Kuzan here, because he is leaving the 4 Dawn open. And it's also possible, like, going into his 8 Dawn turn next turn, he could get some type of value Moria play, bringing back the Kuzan, and then a brand new, drawing several cards. He's going to go 5 into us. I think I'll go ahead and take that as well. Just see more options of things to do. Probably plays a Brook out here. Sengoku. And off the Sengoku, he gets another Kuzan. So he has all the Kuzans. Would have liked to establish a Jack this turn, but we don't have the option to do that. I think I could play the Rebecca and establish a Brook and go 7-7. I like the idea of doing that. I'm guessing he'll block with Rebecca one of these swings. Yeah, that's fine. So we really don't have anything to KO here, so we can kind of just build advantage by doing something, which establishing Jack and going 5-6 would have been the optimal play, but instead I can just go 7 with leader, and then we'll play down Rebecca, establishing a Brook, sitting behind the blocker. He already has a Sengoku in trash, so I might as well just KO it there. If he didn't have one, maybe alright to not give him the option there. I could have reduced the brand new off leader just to get rid of a 3k body. We have quite a bit of reduction, which is good for us going into our Moria turns. Obviously we need to see Moria, but so he does not have Moria, which means it's very likely he's going to play a Jack here, leaving the 7 Dawn open. The 6 Dawn, never mind, is not going to play Jack. We'll just get the block there, put Rebecca back in the trash to play off Moria, which we do already have, but... And then double Brook. We don't have a Lucci in trash yet, so I think I can go ahead and swing 5 here and see what falls in trash. Yeah, we don't get a Lucci. We do have a Suru. I think going Moria, Rebecca, Suru, Brook is going to be the best play here. Obviously, if we had a Lucci in trash, that would be the best play. I don't think it's worth not playing Moria to play the Lucci and KO both Brooks. I think the Moria is going to be a lot more value for us, and then we can swing 7 with the Kaku, because we don't need to use any of the reduction here for the brand news. Just get 1 Brook off the board. Him not having a Moria there put him pretty far behind, honestly. And then us having the Moria. So he could play a Moria this turn, and then if he did, depending what he plays off of it, it's very possible we just play Kaido and trash the Moria, have him trash a card. It's a line of play we could do. We do still have the 2 Luccis and then several reduction events to play out. I'm guessing he has a Moria based on how long he's thinking for this one. Yeah, Kaido's definitely a card I'm not like entirely sold on. I know you kind of need it for Blackbeard, but sometimes just playing, like using a whole turn to play 1 card feels pretty bad. I'm gonna give a 1k here, and I'll use the Helmeppo to get it in trash. I'm not running a 0 cost event in this current list, which I kind of go back and forth on. I really like the idea of 0 cost because it does let like times when you can just get Lucci in trash like that. Probably gonna play a Lucci here to KO the Moria. Also possible he plays a Rebecca into a Brook because it is 0 cost. We'll block that. No reason not to. Very likely he ends up just KOing the Rebecca at some point. Yeah, so it'll be another Brook, which we do need to deal with, but you can see the like hand size difference. I have an 8 compared to his 2 cards. So we definitely want to just control the board here, as I think always is the case in black matchups. I'm going to save the Kaido for a more threatening body, I think. We do have 10 in trash after the Tempest Kick, because it's 9 right now, and then Tempest Kick will take us to 10. So Tempest Kick is online. We could use that on one of the Brooks. I would love some kind of blocker, like a Rebecca would be really nice here. We could definitely clear their board, so I think I'll just swing 6 into Brook. I mean, I don't think there's any way they dump their hand for that. Likely he blocks. Yeah, and then we're definitely going to play the Lucci. We could play the other Brook. I think I like that. So we could go... We can save the Tempest Kick for KOing something off of the Moria. I actually could play the Kaku as well. We have 1, 2. I think Kaku needs 2, yeah. So we would have to get rid of the Spandine. Yeah, I think Brook does give us additional reduction later, so I think I will establish the Brook, and then we'll just go 8 to make sure one of them dies, and then we'll KO the other one with a Lucci. Yep. And then 1, 2, we can KO the brand new as well. And pass. Now, don't have a blocker, but obviously he really only has 1 attack he can make, and we still have 3 life, so we're in quite a good position right now. Seven, we can take that. Definitely going to play a Moria here. Yeah, so he does get the Moria draw to the Rebecca. And yeah, this is one of the like reasons this matchup really isn't great for Smoker, because he can't develop a blocker and also a Lucci like the Lucci can, which if we had a Moria in response, we could pretty easily deal with his whole board basically. while also establishing a Rebecca, which is something Smoker isn't able to do. I am going to play the Kaido on the Moria, which is what we were saving him for. So that will be 9 Dawn, which means we have 1 Dawn. So I definitely want to get rid of the Brook here. So we'll just swing a couple times into that and he'll definitely die. Yeah, so now we can go in life. So I'm going to put 1 on the Brook to swing 5, but I'm going to do that after swinging leader so we can KO the Branu. Then we can go 5 with Brook and then 6 with Lucci and then... Oh, I'm stupid. I don't totally just spaced on using the reduction from leader ability to get rid of the Moria. Obviously, we need to get rid of the Moria there, not the Branu. Because the Kaido KO's a 7 cost, so he does need to be 7. And then we'll swing 6. I think this will pretty much seal the game. Getting rid of the Moria. I'll just use the Soap Sheep because the Tempest Kick is online. I could have trashed the Lucci as well, but if we don't draw into a Moria or anything, then at least we have the Lucci in hand. Pass there. I don't really think there's anything he could do, even if he does end up getting another Moria. Because we have all the reduction in the world to KO. We could KO anything he plays off of Moria with these 3 cards. So if it's like Moria Kuzan, we Ice Age. All right, 7 into 5, and then he could go like Sabo, which would be pretty bad for us. Because we don't have a blocker right now, so I think I do want to counter out of this. We'll go 2k, 1k, and then if he decides to swing leader like 6, he could reduce Suru and then swing 7. Okay, so 5 into 4. I'll give him the Brook. And then he probably swings 7 into us, reducing the Suru. 7 into the Lucci. Yeah, I'll 2k that. So now we have 4 attackers. He has the Rebecca. We can get rid of the Rebecca with a Tempest Brook, so that's 4 Dawn. And then we could go 7. That would get rid of his whole hand. Or take a life, and then we could go 9, which again would get rid of his whole hand or take a life, and then we could go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He would have 4 cards in hand. That's 7, 9, 11, 12, and then we could swing 5 with leader. So yeah, we have lethal if we do that. Tempest is online. Yep, and then now we just go 7, and then 9, and 11. All right, there we go. Good game to the Smoker player there. Yeah, like I was saying, he ended up seeing 1 Moria. We ended up seeing 1 Moria, but we are just able to KO his stuff more efficiently than he is, and I don't think he really saw like too great of a hand. But yeah, that's Lucci into Smoker.